Alright, quick tutorial on list boxes. Start up NetBeans. So I've been working on a project already, just put some bits and pieces out. I'm just going to talk you through what it does. Sorry, I'm absolutely choked. Right, as soon as this catches up with me. Need to buy a faster computer. Okay, so I've got my project already on here. Pretty basic. We have a student class. Now the student class is 4 attributes. We've got an int for our ID, a string for our name, a string for college, and a boolean. That's just for like registered. It doesn't really matter what they are, it's just to give you an example of it. Now, what I'm going to do just now is I'm just going to comment out this section. And we'll jump quickly back to... Right, so this is our form. First thing we've got in there is a list box. We've got a button there, a button here, and a label down at the bottom. So our button here, populate, on click, is going to fill up our list. We've got another button here which will pick something from the list. We'll click on it and it will pull the object out of the list and display it. So first thing we're going to do is, I'll just show you really quickly with the list. Now, I just called this list. Let me delete that and pop it back in. So just dragging the list across from here. So by default they come with information already filled in it. So with your lists and with your tables, it's called the model. So when we click on it, on the right hand side, if you look at properties, you've got your model. Now, you know, you can fill them in with anything you wanted, do you know what I mean? But in this case, we're wanting to populate it ourselves. So I'm just going to hit reset to default, empties the list. And if we go into background code, in fact, I need to rename that quickly to variable name list. I should sort that out. Okay, so into our background code, just importing the hash map, importing a Java Swing component called default list model. So our populate button, what we're doing first of all is we create a hash map. So the hash maps of integers and students, and it's called students. We then have created 3 students just using the class that we created earlier on. So student 1, ID 1, name Tom, is registered and goes to Glasgow College. Then student 2, Reese, student 3, Asmat. Now to do the list, we don't need to populate these into HashMap first, but because that's probably what we're going to be doing when we're using it for our objective, for our assessment, I've just done that as an example. So I've got my HashMap here, students.put, passing in our ID number and then the student object. So 3 of them put into the list. So what we're creating then is, well, I think I kind of mentioned it before, but each list has a model. So what we're creating is what's called a default list model. So again, just same way as you instantiate anything, default list model, I'm calling it DLM. What I'm doing here is I'm looping through my hash map and I'm populating those things, those students in my hash map into the list model. So for int key in students.keyset, so what that's doing is it's looping through all the students and it's taking the integer and setting it to the key for each entry. So default list model.add our key -1. Now the reason we're doing key -1 is because our keys are 1, 2 and 3. Your list models, like pretty much everything, start at 0, so 0, 1, 2. So in order for us to fill it in without having an error, I mean, it needs to start at 0 for the first entry. Default list model add essentially 0, and then we're putting in the first student, then 2, then the second student, 1, then the second student, and then 2, and then the third student. So it's putting the 3 of them in there, and then what we do is our list box, which we called list, and we're doing dot set model and passed in our default list model into it. So that's our display. Now I'm just going to show you that working first of all. I need to run it from here. Should run it. It's just building. Okay, so click on a populate. Now what that's doing is it's passing those student objects into the list via the model. Now what it's displaying here is so any object at all has a string, a toString method. It's written into the code. So in this case, what it's saying is it's in the test list package, it's a student class, and then it's giving you a memory location where it's stored. So student 1, student 2, student 3, so Tom, Reese, Asmat. Obviously that's not great in terms of what we want to display, so what I'm going to do is go back to our student class and show you this method down the bottom. So what we've got is, let me just delete this here, we have a toString method. Now you see it's underlined there because we need to add override annotation, and the reason for that is everything already has a toString method. So what this is doing is it's just overriding that method, so whenever that toString method is called, instead of going to the default one, it's coming to this one here. So it's a public, it's returning a string, and it's called toString, no parameters passed in, and what it's returning there, I mean, you're just building a string the way you normally would. So I've got ID, and then plus an ID, name plus a name, college plus college, as registered, plus as registered, and that's creating that as a string. So when we go back in and we run this again, okay, ID 1, name Tom, college, COGC as registered, true, Reese, Asmat. So that's, as I say, looping through them, putting them through, but when it's displaying them, it's automatically using that, calling that toString method to display it. Now, in our assessment, we'll be doing this with our product lines. So you've got footwear and you've got clothing. And in one of the screens, you've got to have a list box. If you click on the list box on the left, you've got college and footwear. Your two footwear and clothing are your two categories. You've set an on-click event for if somebody selects one of them, it displays all the footwear. If it selects all the clothing, then it displays all the clothing. So this is where this will help. What I'm going to do is show you just one other thing as well. So that's fine in terms of passing information into it, but what we've got to do is we've got to take information out of these list boxes as well. Now, if we try and take out the information that's there, all it's returning is a string, it's not giving us anything. So what we need to do is we need to kind of reverse engineer what we were doing. So if I go into our code in the background again, I'll just show you here. So this is our sack button. So what we're doing first of all is we create a student, right? In this case we're calling it fired. Int is index, and we also have, well, let me explain first of all. So we've got an int index. The reason we've got that is we need to find out which item selected. Okay, so int index equals list.getSelectedIndex. So what that's doing is it's checking the list box, it's seeing which one's displayed, and it's returning the integer based on what line in the list is selected. We're then creating another default list model, but we're setting that, and we're going to cast it, what we're returning back from this, we're casting it into default list model, but we're setting that to list.getModel. So what that's doing is it's returning the structure back, and it's returning the contents of that list model that's obviously populating the box already. Once we've got DLM set to the list model that's in the box, what we're going to do is we're setting a student, and that's equaling, and again we're casting this to make sure it fits the right form for the class, into DLM.getElementAt in our index. So what that's doing is that's returning the student that's at the index that's selected. And then what I've done at the bottom, just to show you it working, is result label.setText, and again what we're doing is we're calling the student, which is fired, and then it's .toString, it's calling that toString method, and again I'll just show you it working. So run file, populate. Now if we go to who's going to get sacked first, Tom. So hit sacked, what it's doing is, it's taking the ID, it's saying, or row 0 is the one that's selected. It's taking that as the integer. Let's move this across so we can see it. It's then creating a default list model, taking the list model from this, which is obviously these 3 boxes here. Then we're setting fired, the student that we created here, and we're setting that to the default list model dot get element at index, which is 0. So it's returning it's Tom, and we populate, and it's displaying our message down the bottom. So that's the tutorial for it. I can go in and do tables as well if you think that's going to help, but tables essentially are work the same way. It's slightly different because you've got to create arrays of strings and stuff like that, but that's essentially the way it works. If you get any questions on it, just give us a wee shout and let us know.